Hi everybody, it's Corbin, and today is going to be another.
Ooh, Yaoi review.
So today I'm going to go and talk about Prince of Cats Volume 3 and 4 by Kori Michele Handwerker. This is an online independently published yaoi. So, yep, it's give and take with those. I'll delve into Volume 3, which requires me to read from Volume 2 for a second. Prince of Cats issue number 3. Frank and Lee have a lot to talk about, not least of which is why the whole school knows that Frank is gay. The more important thing is figuring out why the relationship changed 2 years ago, and whether it's too late to start repairing the damage. Now, again, the art style is still the same. It's this watercolor kind of combination style where it's pretty, it's nice to look at, I enjoy it. It just takes a little bit of adapting and getting used to. Now, this is right after the school dance where Lee had a super hard time with Frank going with a girl, and it kind of escalated. The girl asked Frank for a goodnight kiss, and he explained to her that he was gay, and she went to the house crying. Her older brother heard the entire situation. The older brother went to a party and told pretty much the jocks of the school, and everybody at the school found out that Frank was gay, but they all figured that Frank was rejecting the girl that he went to prom with because they figured he never could be gay. Well, in this volume they confront him and they say, "Hey, dude, this is what they said you did. That's kind of awesome. She's disgusting and gross, and congratulations, brah," kind of crap. And he says, "No." Frank says, "No, she's a great girl. I like her a lot, and I am gay. That's why I didn't do anything with her because I'm gay, and it's not fair for me to string her along," kind of thing. And that's what happens at the very beginning of this. The boys evolve. Lee ends up telling Frank that he likes him and that he's gay too, and it just keeps going. And we really get some of the background story that I was telling you about last time, where the boys, they would get into trouble a lot, or bad things would happen all the time, especially with Lee, because Lee was very rebellious. Frank was a goody two-shoes kid, and it just was one of those situations where they just had a lot of kind of mixed mash problems, and what pushed it over was the accident that happened on the river, which is why they didn't want to pursue a relationship. Now, I believe it is at the end of this volume. Yes, it's the end of this volume where we see the two of the boys end up making up and saying that they're going to date, and Lee says he's going to change, and Frank says, "I kind of doubt that," and Lee and Frank pretty much end up dating after that. Then the girl that Frank rejected, which is this black-haired guy, the girl that Frank rejected meets Frank's little sister, who is also a transitioning female, or she does chest binding, and she and this girl kind of talk and become really good friends. And that's where this one ends, with an I am message kind of thing to Frank's sister and the girl that he kind of broke her heart. Now, let me read to you what happens in Volume 4. A few months have passed. Winter is set in. After the drama club performance of Romeo and Juliet, Lee takes Frank to an after-school party to socialize. Frank gets some advice from an unexpected source, and Lee begins to wonder why the talking cats have been scarce. So, in this volume, everybody is starting to think about schools and where they're going to go. Lee has decided to stay home because he feels obligated to stay with the family farm. His father's old. He doesn't really have any other male children to help with the farm, or any children that will really want to do it like Lee does, like Frank does. So he decides that his boyfriend, Frank, decides he wants to go to school in New York, and they kind of have a blowout. They're also having sex at this point, and they have an HIV scare. So that's kind of the meat of the very beginning of this, is them dealing with the fact Lee doesn't want to leave, but Frank does. I mean, Lee wants to leave, but Frank doesn't. And that school, it's give and take, and they're going to go down different paths because they're two different people. And the unexpected news comes from Lee's ex-boyfriend, maybe sex buddy. I don't really know how you'd label them. They're just really close friends that are kind of awkward that way. So they talk, they meet up, they do their thing, and Frank and Lee meet at the party. I mean, keep doing that. Frank and the guy, the blonde that's right here, they meet up. He gives him the advice saying, look, honey, if you're not happy in the relationship, don't stay with it, and realize that Lee isn't really going to ever change. That was the entire message I took from it. He says you have to be willing to adapt to the one you love, and they'll try to adapt to you and change. It was really sweet. They get, after all that advice happens, they get Frank back home, poured into his bed, and they end this one with Frank and Lee's little talking thing, with Frank running into his father downstairs mildly drunk. And that's where they end that one. Then it shows a little side story of this little guy being beaten up because he tried to hook up with a straight guy at a party, and his friends rushing to help him and save him kind of thing and make sure he doesn't die. So that's kind of this volume, really, in a nutshell. There isn't too much that happens, and these are just fun little volumes. I gave these a 3.5 out of 4, purely because they're kind of dry. They're not going to be for everyone. You can read them 100% online. You do get Patreon, well, when this was very popular, you get the Patreon exclusive, like, little images she has in the back. So that's one of the benefits. You also get little limited edition prints that come with the Yaois. This one came with volume 3. This one came with volume 4. So this is the boys reading during a sleepover. This is them on a bus or in a van after what looks like 4th of July or a camp out. So it's give and take. These weren't outrageously priced if you want to get them. Kori Michele Handwerker was very, very nice. She did a bundle deal with all of the volumes together because she had them all, so she did that for me. I highly recommend at least checking it out. You can just Google Prince of Cats Yaoi and it'll pop up. She has a few other works that she's done, and I'm going to check those out too. I do enjoy her art style. I think it's cute. I think it's fun. This is highly different than any of the other ones. This was a little more cartoony and watercolory, and I like very clean, fine lines and that stuff. So I'm surprised I like this style. So I suggest you guys check it out. I will talk to you later. Shoot me a thumbs up, okay? And press the subscribe button. Share this with your friends who like yaois. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye. Do you like what you see? Then subscribe!